It is your right to vote. Your vote is secret. You have a right to vote without fear. No one will know how you vote. They have no way of knowing who you voted for. This election, when you go to vote, vote without fear.
Welcome to a special Facebook Live by the New Democratic Party. This is your NDP election chat. And today we are going to hear about the NDP's plan for you, the young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Joining me for today's chat, we have two of your candidates, Fitz Bramble, the candidate for East Kingstown, and we also have Phillips Jackson, candidate for Marrickville. Good evening, and thank you guys for joining us on our election chat.
Good afternoon, Daniel. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here.
And we're just going to dive right into it because I know this is go time for you both. I'm sure you guys have to be in a million places. And as we are talking about the NDP's plan for the youth of St. Vincent, I know that you guys are active in your communities. What would you say are some of the things that they talk about most when talking about the challenges that they're currently facing?
Well, if I could jump off first, Philip. Sure. You know, the New Democratic Party is the only party in this country that has a plan for young people. I mean, and especially when you juxtapose that and put it next to the fact that the Unity Labour Party has failed to deliver for young people. They have made a lot of promises, but they really and truly have failed to deliver for young people. So the New Democratic Party is the party that's charting the course and that will really create an environment of hope and also deliver that hope to the young people when we form government. Just to quickly get into some of the issues that I encounter in my own constituency. As you know, Daniel, and most other persons would know, since last election when I was elected as the representative for East Kingstown, I've not stopped. I've been going every day, you know, and one of my favorite places of interacting is on the block, especially the Sarnia block. I go there every Saturday morning, Philip, and I interact with those fellas. So when I talk, I know what I'm talking about. And the basic problem with young people in my constituency is really lack of opportunity. That is the all-encompassing problem. And within that all-encompassing problem of lack of opportunity, you know, the harsh and daunting reality of high youth unemployment. You know, they say that the national youth unemployment rate right now is around 40%, 4 out of every 10. But as an economist, as a social scientist, I did my own rough survey, Daniel. And I'm telling you, in East Kingstown, it's closer to 60%. 6 out of 10 young persons in East Kingstown with nothing to do. And I'm talking about young people who've completed secondary school, completed community college. You know, the issue of crime is a big issue in East Kingstown. And I hate to make reference to the fact that the only mass shooting in St. Vincent and the Grenadines took place in East Kingstown. About 2 years ago in July, 2.5 years ago, when 5 young men were gunned down up at the quarry up not far from the cruise ship berth, you know? And you can see and hear and feel the yearning for some kind of hope, for some kind of opportunity from these young people. And that is what drives me. That is what drives me. And I am happy that I am part of an NDP team that provides hope for our young people. And as the program goes on, I'll get into more detail, but I don't want to take away too much from my brethren Philip.
You know, I just want to big up the young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A big shout out. Tell your friends, get on the live, join the live, and let's have a discussion about you. You know, Fitz, when I go around in Marrickville, the young people come to me and the number one word is that, Jackson, we need a change. I used to think, you know, that I was the one to have advanced that idea to them. But they were the one who's bringing that to me, Jackson, we need a change. And they said, well, Jackson, nothing not go on for we. And it's like, yeah, this thing ain't working. And we want you, we're looking towards you, we're trusting you to make a difference. And Oh, that gives me a deep sense of responsibility. And I want to say to the young people of Morocco and to SVG, because as the next government, we represent everybody. Together we win, right?
That's right.
Is that we're deeply committed. We have been listening to you. We have the plans for you. We have the team to deliver those plans. And we're looking for partnership with our young people. We care, the only party that cares deeply about you, because what we propose is what you told us when we spoke to you. So I'm excited, Fitz.
Very much
I'm
so.
very excited about advancing the cause of young people working together. I know you guys have a lot of ideas. I love to hear ideas. I live for ideas, but more importantly, I live for implementing ideas for transformation. And you have a great part to play, and we're on your side.
And what I'm gathering from you both is that there is a general lack of opportunity, and that you were saying, Philip, that they are yearning for a change. So how will the NDP ensure that the young people are given these opportunities that they seem to want so much?
Well, let me, before I answer that question directly, I also wanted to because I'm a data man and I like to give the facts.
The stats.
The stats. You know, we have throughout our history, first it's unprecedented in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that we are experiencing the highest rate of out-migration. In other words, young people leaving St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I'm not referring to young people who are going away to study or who are going maybe to meet their family somewhere, or some of them are going to meet family because, you know, the opportunities there are better. But I'm talking about young people who are leaving here to go overseas to find something to do, to greener pastures, as we say. I know two of my young dems within the recent past, two of my young dems left St. Vincent and went to Antigua to take up security guard work.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I'm talking about young men who completed community college. You know, so when we talk about lack of opportunities, this kind of daunting reality that our young people are facing under this Unity Labour Party government is no joke. It's no joke. But the New Democratic Party is so serious and understands this problem so well that we have gone into real initiatives and providing real commitment to our young people. The evidence of that is clear. First of all, we have our Youth Guarantee Pledge, which Dr. Friday signed with our young people almost 2 years ago. You know, I was there right out at what used to be Prime Lime out there, Lime and Pub, sorry. I forgot the name of it right. But anyway, out in the Villa area, I was there as part of the ceremony where Dr. Friday signed a Youth Guarantee Pledge with our young people. And you know, our Youth Guarantee Pledge it's basically threefold. And Philip, you can expound a little bit later on to, but just to mention, with the New Democratic Party government and Dr. Friday as our Prime Minister, and with the fantastic team that we have of young people like Philip, young people like Dr. Shallow, young people like Kishaka Cupid, young people like Sister Chevron John, you know, young people like Conroy Huggins, young people like Chieftain Neptune. Did I miss anybody? Well, you could call almost everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, and this New Guarantee Pledge, Dr. Friday said to our young people, look, when we form government and I become Prime Minister, you as a young person, you will either be in school, you will be learning a skill, or you will be working somewhere.
Or you'll be placed on an internship.
Right. You'll be placed on an internship, which is part of the working,
Exactly.
aspect of it. You know, so young people, you have so much to look forward to with the New Democratic Party government. And I know Dr. Friday. I know him very well because he taught me in secondary school. So I know him very well. And when I tell you, he's a man that don't make promises, he makes commitments. And I know that is a commitment that he will keep, and his team will help him to keep that commitment. You know, so the Youth Guarantee Pledge is the first tangible evidence that the New Democratic Party will take care of our young people.
Yeah, and you know, Fitz, and when we speak about young people, it sounds as though we're just speaking about one group of people with similar characteristics. But really and truly, when you look at the spectrum of young people in St. Vincent and Grenadines, there are different groups with different challenges. Of course, there are those who they are finished with school, but they don't have any employment. We are sensitive to that. That's why we say we will provide you with jobs at the level at which you are. There are those who they finish with school, they're ready to go on to college and university. The NDP has a plan for those of you in that category. We are saying that we will expand scholarships, and not just any scholarship. We would expand scholarship in areas that really drives a modern economy. So areas like the hard sciences, computer science, digitalization, you know, areas like bioeconomy, areas like the digital economy, areas that brings together computational science, genetics, the blue economy. We're making sure that if you're a young person who's looking to pursue higher education, the NDP government will be focused on getting the right scholarships to you. But they're just young people those who just want to open a business. Mm-hmm. We, through our Innovation Hub and our National Development Bank, if you're a young person who are interested in business development, in entrepreneurship, we have a plan for you too. And for those who are interested in agriculture, we have, when our plan for agriculture is properly developed, anticipating everything in the agricultural ecosystem, including how digitalization can help agriculture and markets. So young people, no matter which group you find yourself in, you can be assured that Team NDP has thought about you and have developed the type of plans to help you get from where you are to where you want to be.
And if I could just add quickly to what Philip, I mean, Philip is the science and technology expert, and you heard the kind of details that he's gone into. So we don't just sit here and just shoot, you know, from the hip like some other people. We have studied this, we've analyzed it, and we have people with the expertise and the experience, you know. But I just want to quickly add on to the issue of scholarships as well. And we're talking about, you know, sports scholarships, for example. You know, our sportsmen and women, sometimes we just allow them to fall through the cracks. And we will show you where our national athlete program will address that problem. But I just want to use myself as an example. I was the beneficiary of a football scholarship to go to university. You know, I had some skills in football. I got a scholarship. I played youth football for the university, and they paid for my education. So I am very well aware of the opportunities for sports scholarships in the United States. That's where I played at Old Dominion University in Virginia. And I have a big network of coaches, of sports administrators, of sports managers, whom we can leverage and provide sporting scholarships for our athletes. So what we are envisioning with the New Democratic Party is just like you give away however many hundreds or thousands of academic scholarships every year, we want to do the same thing for sports as well, or something similar, you know? Why can't we set aside, say, 100 scholarships for our sports people? You liaise and negotiate with the universities in the United States and Canada. Canada has a big student-athlete environment as well. They give a lot of sports scholarships. I don't know, I'm not too au fait with what happens in Europe, but I know in the United States and Canada in particular, you know, most of these professional athletes you see all over the place, they were beneficiaries of sports scholarships. They went to university, got their degrees. My own son, I have a son right now. He's playing professional basketball in Spain. He was the beneficiary of a basketball scholarship, and he went on and got his master's degree. He has an MBA in healthcare management.
And the NDP is committed to making sure that those of you young people who see sports as an opportunity, a career, that will make sure that you get to that. You maximize your full potential. That, if you don't mind, Daniel, to share experience. So a young student, a university student, shared with me yesterday that the chat, I'm not going to call it a university, but a lot of it blew up. And the big discussion was about scholarships and what the NDP will do with scholarships. I want to assure you, my friends, those of you who are studying currently, those of you who are in community college, and are planning to study, under the NDP, it will be more scholarships, not less. And if you currently have a scholarship, you won't lose your scholarship. If anything, we will ensure that beyond the scholarship, we provide a sort of mentorship programs that can help you in your career guidance, to help you to focus and meet other Vincentians who are successful in the career that you're interested in. So there will be more scholarships, not less, but it will be scholarships plus, because we care enough to surround you and expose you to professionals that can help to guide you to maximize your career. So don't be afraid. NDP is a team for you. Even more than what you currently have.
Let me just say, I know that
It's okay, you guys want to
we have to say this thing as it should be said, and we have to say it head on. When representatives and supporters of the Unity Labour Party come and tell you about nonsense, utter rubbish, that the NDP is not going to, do this and do that and have about your scholarship opportunity. That is total BS.
When you tell it, so
it's total BS. That is all part of political propaganda. Don't believe that. Why would we want to do something like that? Every single one of us in the New Democratic Party who's put themselves up as a candidate now, we have been beneficiaries of some tertiary university level education. And we know the value of that. So why would we want to provide and increase those opportunities for young people? And it's not to election rhetoric and foolishness coming from the ULP. Just disregard. Don't even listen to that.
I also want to address our young people who are not in the academic realm. But just to close off on this item of scholarships, we have what we call the Indigenous Research Fund. Is that what? You're a Vincentian studying abroad. We want to make sure you're able to do your research papers, your thesis on Vincentian problems.
That's right.
And we will identify what are the priority challenges we have as a country, and say, sign me up. I want to study this area that is pertinent to our development, and we give you the resources to come home and do your research. We make sure you have all of the documentation necessary. We put you in the right professionals who have to supervise your research, because we have to develop a research and data-driven economy.
Of course.
And our young people in the academic realm are best positioned through the Indigenous Research Fund to contribute to your country by studying Vinci things first.
One last quick thing, Denny. One last quick thing on that, because I know we're anxious to move on. But when we talk about scholarships as well, we have to make sure that we understand what is required and necessary to take this country forward and to give the young people the best possible opportunity. So we will also be providing opportunities and programs to help guide the young people, the potential scholarship recipients, in terms of what they want to go and study. You give somebody a scholarship and they go off. You don't just go off and just study because you got a scholarship. What you study should be connected to what the country requires for development, so that when you come back home, you don't sit down home with nothing to do, because what you studied is really not, of course, a university. And somebody said to me the other day, they said, Lambert, we know about these scholarship opportunities. Youngsters go, they get their bachelor's degrees, they get their master's, they get their PhDs. But we also need to focus on specific skills training opportunities that may not be provided. Here in St. Vincent, he made reference to the fact that we have so many hybrid vehicles coming in here. We need to give young people opportunities to go and learn the skill of how to repair and maintain these hybrid vehicles and other types of futuristic goods and things that will be coming into our society.
And to those young people, personally, but I'm good with my hands. I'm not interested in a university scholarship. We have thought of you. We have promised that we'll establish technical centers, skill centers, to make sure that you're learning the relative skills that are in demand. If you're good with your hands, we, the NDP, is ready to take you to where you need to be and give you what you need. And for those of you who say, okay, I'm not into the academics, not into, but I'm a creative. You say, well, you're a creative. Whether it's music, animation, creating songs, etc. We have thought of that too. And through our innovation hub, we have said we're going to provide innovation hubs around the country with computers, with powerful programs to create any type of media that suits the audience you're interested in. You're interested in animation, you'll be able to do that. And you're interested in music, you have the program you need. In video production, in movie production, the whole gamut, virtual reality, augmented reality, we have thought about that. And guess what? These innovation hubs will be open 24/7. Because you know, those of you in the creative sector know sometimes brain waves don't have no timing on it. If something keeps you at 1 o'clock, you could call up your crew and say, guy, let's go down to the innovation club and let's jam. Let's jam. And we're not moving until we have what you call the minimum viable prototype to run. And that's it, 24/7. Powerful technologies available to you. And further, not only will we be able to produce, but you'll be able to sell. We, as part of our Youth Guarantee Pledge, global platforms being able to receive and send payment is critical to driving digital businesses. And part of our Youth Guarantee Pledge is to ensure that you have access to global payments. So when you produce your stuff, you can reach your global market and receive payment for it. That's NDP. That's the only party you could think about these things, because the people that in your government that you're going to choose have deep experiences in these areas and have thought about you and the possibilities.
And since you guys have allowed that to ventilate quite a bit and we have a little bit of time, I just want to quickly touch on crime because we have to wrap things up very soon. And I know that I will check in to ensure. No? Okay, we still have some time.
Okay.
Fitz, you would have mentioned crime and how very passionately you feel on the issue. What is the plan that the NDP has in place to tackle crime in St. Vincent?
Well, let me first of all say, when we talk about crime, and especially among young people, I have first-hand experience of that, you know. In 2014, I had a young son who was gunned down in Sion Hill, Philip, you know. So I know the pain of a parent, you know. People always have things to say, but the harsh reality is that I lost a son because of gun violence, you know what I mean? And I have pledged to do whatever I can do to make sure that I minimize and reduce and possibly eliminate that risk of another young man experiencing what my son experienced with him. You know what I mean? So I think that the problem of crime in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and especially in urban and suburban areas such as East Kingston, it's multifaceted. We all know that. We all know that. But I think it ultimately stems from the lack of social opportunities, social safety nets, you know. Young fellas on the block with nothing to do. You know, you think it's easy, you go to complete community college, you sit down every day, can't get $1, can't get $2, $3 to buy a bag of bread. That is the harsh reality, you know. And you know what really gets me upset is that some people try to defend them kind of foolishness. They tell you, about, oh, that is not true. Those things are not happening here. So we have to create opportunities, employment opportunities. We definitely have to create more and better paying jobs for our young people. Give them useful, positive things to do. That is why when the NDP talks about our 4 pillars of socio-economic development, agriculture, Philip just outlined the technology that's associated with that and the futuristic way of doing agriculture, which is music to the young people's ears. That's what the young people want, you know. But it doesn't take away also from the traditional agriculture, because you have to go and you have to plant. But it's no longer going to be a situation where you're going in a piece of land with a hoe and a cutlass, you know, because you have technological devices, modern equipment that young people can use, and not so young people in farming, tourism, the same thing, the blue economy. You know, we're talking about having what's the word, where you can identify, for example, where the schools, where the large supply of fish can be locators. Can be located instead of just going out in a boat with a long line and hoping that the fish won't bite and these kinds of things. And those are the things that would resonate with young people because that's their thinking, that's their environment.
So Fritz, I want to add, so on the other side of the crime equation, of course, opportunities, jobs that we're providing, that would help. But you know, I've been saying for a while, the education system the education system currently, as administered by the ULP, is manufacturing delinquency. When you take students and just push them through the system, up and out, who can't read at the level they're supposed to do, who can't do mathematics at the level they're supposed to do, but just give them a seat in a secondary school and just push them up and out. And then they leave, some of them leave frustrated, not being able to fulfill their potential. And there you are, out of school, frustrated without achievement, then you become a target for criminal activities. And so we're saying to you, we have to fix that problem in education. We're not about brandishing big names and blah, blah, blah. Listen, we understand education and the problems of education, and we will ensure that you are given the skills and the competencies that you require to make the maximum benefit of secondary and post-secondary education. And that is massive. That's a massive shift from what the ULP. Instead of up and out, we will surround you, hold your hand, and make sure by the time you leave school, you have what it takes to take advantage of global opportunities, regional opportunities, and local opportunities. That is the other side of the crime equation that we will address. And the only party who is not running away from the crime problem is the NDP. Nowhere is the ULP to be found on the question of crime. An entire speech with a whole set of superfluous and highfalutin language given at independence, and not one single word on the challenge and the issues of crime. That is because they don't care, they don't think it's their problem. Well, listen, if it's not your problem, get out of the way. The NDP cares about you and cares about your opportunities, and we will tackle crime head on. Because when we do better as a society, everybody do better. We want our young people to do better so that everybody can benefit, and we'll take care of this.
Very well said, Philip. And you know the thing is, we have a situation where we have had a national security minister, Ralph Gonsalves. He's been the national security minister in this country since he took office. And under his watch, our homicide rate has escalated to record amounts in the last 2 years. The last few murders that we had in this country, including Sharon Ashton from Longwall in my constituency, who was brutally murdered. Up to now, Ralph Gonsalves has not said a single word, not even to console the family. That is why he has to go home, Daniel. He has proven that he is incompetent, he is insensitive, and he doesn't care about crime and the challenges of crime in this country and how they impact young people. And that is the reality, that nobody could defend that. Nobody could defend Ralph's failure as National Security Minister. And if they want to defend it, I will challenge them on it. Anyway, any day, any time. You know what I mean? The other issue quickly about crime has to do with our communities. Community life has degraded to levels that are just so sad.
And that's because the ULP thrives on divide and rule.
Exactly.
We need to bring back a sense of community spirit, and young people and the sense of volunteerism will help to drive that. The NDP will create the space for people to own their space, own their communities, and bring back the love. Bring back the love.
Philip, listen, back in the day, I remember in East Kingstown, Sion Hill, for example, when you talk about the impact of community spirit and togetherness and community organization without any push from government,
yes.
You know, you had volunteer groups, you had, Jeannie just told us on Sunday, for example, when the New Democratic Party was in government, we had almost 100 NGOs and community groups, you know, CBOs, community-based organizations, and non-governmental organizations. Almost 100 now. How many do we have that?
I'm dreaming about the first weekend after election. I'd love to see, we have socials. Moonlight socials all over the country. Bring back the love, bring back the vibes, old and young together.
Of course.
But I see we're about to.
Yes, I'm so sorry, but because we need to tell that young person on the live right now why it is important for them on November 27th to vote, and before that, why it is important to ensure that they are registered. And I would like both of you to speak to that young person. All right, Philip, you can go ahead.
I don't mind, age is wisdom. But listen, on a serious note, young people, look, every 5 years when we have elections, that is the opportunity for every single Vincentian to say to the person, the entity who is managing our country, whether we like what you're doing or not. In this case, the Unity Labour Party has been managing St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the last 25 years, and they have done a piss-poor job of it, excuse my language, especially over the last 5 years. This is the one opportunity, young people, that you have to say to a failed Unity Labour Party government, we don't want you anymore. And this is the opportunity for you to say, the New Democratic Party, we believe in your plans, we believe in the hope that you are providing for us, and we are giving you the opportunity to do it. But you can't do it unless you go out and register. There's a 15-day period of registration now, every day, including Saturdays and Sundays from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 6 o'clock in every constituency. Make sure you find out where the registration centers are in East Kingstown. The registration center is at CW Prescott from today until next week, Tuesday, November the 5th. And then from then on to November the 13th will be at the Technical College. Every day from 3 to 6 p.m. Get your birth certificate, make a photocopy of your birth certificate, and you go down and you register. And give yourself the opportunity to create the change that you want, and to create the change that is necessary in St. Vincent and the Grenadines by voting for the New Democratic Party.
Our dear young people, under the governance of an NDP government, there's a place for people like you in a new SVG. First, get involved in the process because it matters. Talk to your crew. Get your crew, those who are not registered, get them registered. And together you make a compact with each other that on election day, you're going to look for your brethren, you're going to look for your sisterin, and together you would march to that polling station and you would vote together for the NDP. You would make sure that you create the opportunity for a new SVG for youth. And listen why. The NDP has the plans for you. The NDP has the team that will deliver the plan. What's missing in this equation is you the youths of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and your support. Let's put all of these together, and together we win. We love you, we care about you. There's a space for all of us, and young people, you're the one who are going to deliver a new SVG for all. God bless you. Let's stay in touch.
Thank you guys so much, and thank you to our wonderful viewers for joining us. Make sure that you get yourself registered. And that brings us to the end of our Facebook Live special NDP's election chat.
It is your right to vote. Your vote is secret. You have a right to vote without fear. No one will know how you vote. They have no way of knowing who you voted for. This election, when you go to vote, vote without fear.